I'm Lisa, the artist behind Lachri Fine Art. It is Tuesday, so I'm here to critique one of your original paintings or drawings. If you have an original painting or drawing that you would like to submit for a critique, you can head over to my website, lachri.com/critique. That link is below in the video description, like always, and you can submit your work there. There is a very long waiting list, so if you are looking to have tips or advice on your artwork right now, head over to our Facebook group. There are plenty of artists. I'll put a link in the video description, or our Google Plus group. Head over there, and there are lots of artists who will give you tips now. Today's submission comes from artist Natalie, who has completed this portrait in charcoal. She said in her submission, "I've always tried to work in this style, but now more than ever, I'm looking for more technique and cleaner details. My goal for this particular piece was to correctly capture lighting on the skin." Your drawing is super close. So many of the areas on here, like even when I lined it up, and we'll look at that in a minute, were really, really close. Your drawing skills are very good. I like that you're not afraid to get your darks dark. That's a big deal, and that's something that so many people are too afraid to do, and you've got it. That isn't a problem for you, so that's awesome. Taking a look at a few things we can adjust to improve on this even more. You first said you were trying to get cleaner details and work on technique, and that is a great goal. What's happening here with charcoal in general, charcoal blends super easily, too easily sometimes. So you've got to watch that you don't take advantage of your blending tool too much, because you can overly blend things and have things too soft, like the edge of her hand. A lot of this is too soft. So I would use your charcoal pencils more, or even just a much smaller shading tool will work for you that you've loaded up with the charcoal. You can use that, but watch that you're not over blending. I think that that's really what's happening in keeping your details and edges from being as clean as you're looking for. Now, on the flip side, you've got areas around her hair where it's not blended softly enough. You've tried to draw in the individual strands too much, and I suspect you came through with your eraser to get those individual strands. Now, that's a good technique. Get some wisps in there, but not too many. If you try to do too many, they're too harsh and they look very wiry. Use those techniques. Use that eraser to clean up your edges around the hands and face and things like that you need to tighten up the details. But on the hair, those individual wisps, don't put quite so many. Let that go ahead and be softer. Get those clumps and clusters in there, but a little bit softer. And again, some wisps are good. You want some of those in there, just not so many, so uniform. And right now, the hair that's being pulled back on this section, all of the lines are so even, so perfectly, that it doesn't look natural. Make sure when you're painting and drawing things that you don't get things looking too uniform, because that isn't a very natural look. Try to get things to look a little bit more random, and really look at your reference photo. Look at how that hair is clumping. It's not just straight lines all the way through. There are clumps and clusters with the shadows that should be in there. Next, let's look at your actual drawing. Now, you are pretty close in a lot of areas, like surprisingly close, but on other areas, you're quite a bit off enough that it throws everything else out. So like the edge of her face is much wider, so her face kind of looks a little bit more squatty than what you want. Thin that out, because it will completely, if you widen something like the jawline out, you add quite a bit of weight to the person. A little bit too far one direction or another will really make a difference in how that person looks. Your eyes look really accurate. Most of this, as you can see here, where I've imported into Photoshop, laid your reference photo on top of the drawing, outlined your drawing in the hot pink color, removed the reference photo, and you can see where things are. A lot of this is so super accurate, but some of it, one thing will get off and it will throw everything off around it. Make sure before you start shading things in that your drawing is just right, that it's absolutely perfect. Check your measurements against themselves. You'll find areas there, like the distance between here and here should be the same distance as here and here. Double check your work throughout the piece like that. Now, you had said that your goal was to capture the lighting just right on her face. When working in black and white, my first tip, change your reference photo to black and white. If we put your photo and the reference photo, I had to adjust yours or desaturate it because it had a green tint to it, so it was making it hard to show this comparison. But when we put them side by side and I compare the same area, like the forehead on one to the forehead on the other, look at the difference in the values. You've actually gone a lot darker than you need to go, which is not something that you'll hear me say that often. Usually people don't go dark enough. With charcoal though, it is easy to go too dark. And so that's what's happened here, is that everything is way too dark, and it makes it hard to capture the lighting because there's not much of the light left through, and not much of the white of the paper showing through here. One of the easiest ways to fix this with charcoal, if you find that you've gone too dark, is to use a kneaded eraser. These are the little kind of smushy ones that are putty-like, you can take this and just dab the paper. Press it to the paper. Don't erase and scrub back and forth. You'll get eraser lines, which is definitely not what you want. When you want to just lightly soften something up, lift some of the color when you've gone too dark, you can take that kneaded eraser and just dab it and then pull it away. Then rework it, kind of get rid of whatever came off on the eraser, because you will get charcoal all over it, and do the same thing. Just rinse and repeat until you get it lightened up enough. When you go too dark, it's not the end of the world. You can lighten a lot of this up, and that's really what needs to happen here. Everything is so dark that the lights aren't being allowed through. And I'm a huge fan of contrast. Everyone knows that. But you want to make sure that you're putting it in the right place. For example, her hand here that's up against her face, that shadow, you've gone super, super dark. You've also gone too large. So what happens is her finger looks way thinner than it should be because the shadow took over, and your eyes are kind of drawn to that dark shadow place. Watch that. Definitely make sure you're not going too dark in the wrong place, because that also can change the drawing. Even if you started with a perfect drawing, if the shadow's too dark or gets out of control, it will change the shape of whatever that drawing was. I am really impressed though, because your drawing skills, I can tell you are going to be absolutely amazing. Just slow down, make sure that that initial drawing is just right, and again, changing that reference photo to black and white, I think it's going to make it much, much easier for you to judge your values. Okay, I'm having way too much fun with this kneaded eraser now. Sorry, I can't finish the video. Gotta play with the eraser. Have you subscribed yet? I have 5 new art videos every single week. Subscribe button right there to make it easier for you. I don't have anything else to say there. I don't know what I was trying to say. I'm done. I'll see you guys tomorrow.